The GOP is attacking our democracy in several different ways. Ron DeSantis is the number three candidate behind the guy whose name I cannot pronounce, who wants to increase the voting age, which means getting rid of a constitutional amendment that lowered the age from 21 to 18 to 25. And then the racist policy that he wants to put in is voting tests, or civics test, which is what he described it as, because the GOP does not like the voting habits of those under the age of 30. Well, the reason why that amendment was put in is because the people who were getting killed in Vietnam were not happy about the voting habits of the people who were sending them to die. If you're old enough to be handed an M4 or an M1 Abrams and go and fight the bad guys, then you're old enough to decide whether or not the politicians that are sending you should be in office. That's how it goes. But the GOP doesn't like that because they've seen, especially recently, whether it was in Minnesota with the youth vote or just recently in Ohio with the youth vote, they're not winning the youth vote. And let's ask ourselves why. Why is Generation Z, why are they voting for the Republicans? What has caused them to be so unhappy with their policies? Well, let's start. Anyone under the age of 25 has done active shooter drills. 23 years ago, in July or June, Barry Grunow was shot in Palm Beach County by Nathaniel Brazil. I remember I was teaching. These children have gone through active shooter drills, and the unfortunate ones have gone through active shooters. The ones that survived, they all have phones and they've told their stories. And you know what party solves the problem? It's not the one that offers thoughts and prayers and said nothing can be done about guns. If you don't think the school shooting and the preponderance of guns doesn't have a big influence on this generation, you're not paying attention. And then you have the systematic attack on their friends who are in the rainbow, the Christian nationalists, and then finally the attack on women, and of course, minorities. This group of individuals, these kids that I've taught, they are much more caring and empathetic than we were. Somehow we did a better job. I have no earthly clue. But there is a streak for equality that runs through this age bracket that I have not seen before. And they will stand up and fight for people whose rights are getting oppressed in a way that we have not seen since the 1960s with the Vietnam War and the anti-war movement. The GOP is attacking women, children, educators, Hispanics, African Americans. Who else is left? The party is running on a plank on their platform to get rid of free and reduced lunch. At the same time, you have AGs in the Carolinas trying to get information about women who have gone out of their state to get an abortion, which is HIPAA, and a HIPAA violation. That person should be arrested. But he's Attorney General of the state, so that's not going to happen unless the federal AG got involved, which is what I'm thinking we need to do. Where is the federal response for all the bullshit in these Republican states? I taught civics. Federal law supersedes state law. It's time we start going in, and I don't care if we did it like we did in Little Rock, Arkansas, when we forced desegregation. Go in, get everyone out of the house, redraw the entire state's districts so they're fair and equitable, and then vote and see what happens. There won't be a Republican state left. The GOP is hurting women, children, and men. There's no one else left. By the way, don't forget about the systematic attack on the poor. In my state, Ron DeSantis took 260,000 people off of Medicaid. The GOP was trying to cut 20% from Medicare. before the whole bullshit this summer with Kevin McCarthy, along with 20% cut to Medicaid and veterans benefits. The GOP is trying to screw the American people with their pants on.